Did you want to do it?
No.
No?
No, I got my words wrong.
He doesn't want to do the intro. He doesn't want to introduce the show. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Saints Network podcast. Another weekly instalment of talking about all things Southampton Football Club and other bits and bobs from the wider championship. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit all the magical YouTube buttons for us. Hit that like button if you enjoy the content. Importantly at the moment, smash subscribe if you haven't already and hit that bell notification icon if you want to be notified of future videos and uploads. We are at 919 or 918 or something like that.
916.
We're at a few, more than one at least, but we are closing in on 1,000, and it would mean the world to us if we could hit 1,000 subscribers in the near future. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us, and importantly, share it around with other people that you know who like Southampton Football Club and football in general and handsome men.
It's the first time you ever paid me a compliment.
I'm already regretting it.
Okay.
Tonight we sit here post another league game in the Championship, game 3 to be precise, in the Championship season, and we were at home for a 3 o'clock kickoff to Stoke City. Now, Stoke City have been high flyers so far in the Championship, if you can call them that, because there's been 2 games.
Yeah.
But they had played 2, won 2, scored 6, conceded 1.
Yes.
Now, we obviously had managed to beat Wrexham on the opening game of the season, and that was in quite dramatic fashion, and we left it a bit late to beat a team that had been newly promoted, but it was also first game of the season. We managed a 1-1 draw away at Ipswich, as we spoke about last week, and I was slightly concerned that we were, as per the show title, a little toothless. If we think about it, of the 4 goals we've scored so far, 1 has come from a midfielder, the other 3 had come from defenders, and well, it's including yesterday actually now, isn't it, that one?
Yep.
And one of which was a set piece. The forward line has not, for me, so far, looked all that impressive or all that dangerous. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I personally think that Armour as a sole number 9 has looked a bit terrible. We'll get into this because I don't want people to think that I'm on an Armour witch hunt, because I'm not. But I don't think in the first 2 games he looked like a player who is going to cause defences trouble and is going to look dangerous. And yet yesterday, stood outside the ground, starting lineup comes up, minimal to no changes, right? There was a change in defence. We brought in Nathan Wood for Kwashi. Am I saying that right? Kwashi?
Kwashi? Sounds right, doesn't
Kwashi is what I think it is, but I might be murdering it. We brought in Nathan Wood for Kwashi because he has had a bit of a torrid time for his first 2 games. In fact, against Ipswich, him and Wellington as a combination looked dreadful, dare I say? We spoke about this last week. So that was a change that I'm not massively surprised to see. Otherwise, the lineup was the same. And I have to go as far as to say, I always have and always will hate 5 at the back. It's not a thing I'm a fan of.
Same.
I can understand going to a dangerous, threatening team away from home and doing that. I get it. I kind of understand that. I am struggling at the moment to comprehend why we are prepared to go home as a team that really probably should consider ourselves as one of the bigger teams in the league. And I know a lot of fans from other clubs are going to laugh at us at the moment because one season in the Premier League. It wasn't there, was it? We've had, in the last decade, we've had most of our seasons in the Premier League. So we should be considered as one of the bigger teams. And yet we're at home early stage of the season. And I think that what we do when we play 5 at the back is we're inviting pressure on.
Agreed.
What was interesting is, if we actually analysed yesterday's game and analysed the way that we played, actually in attack we were having 4 at the back. So what we were seeing is one of the wing backs, either Wellington or Fraser, was pushing up the pitch, and the other one was dropping into the full-back position. And actually what we saw quite a lot was Fraser pushing up, Wellington dropping into left back, Harwood Bellis playing as a right back, and Stevens and Wood in the middle. And I think that is interesting as a system, but I still think because we're defaulting to 5 at the back, counter-attacking football becomes incredibly difficult, because you struggle to get the overlap because you're holding 5 players back. So you're only attacking with 5 players. It's very easy, I think. And what I think we saw yesterday was, because we did play that kind of formation, I think we watched Stoke sit there and go, come on then. And then when they nick the ball, we're now going to hit you with a rapid counter-attack. Now, actually, interestingly, I think Stoke yesterday, and I'll be interested to know what you think, I think they showed exactly what we were missing. They had 3 powerful, fast, forward people that caused us all manner of issues. even though I don't think they played the greatest football, even though we had the majority of possession, right? What they did is they would knock it long or play it over, and they had three powerful people who would run at defenders, and we just don't seem to have any of that.
I think we need to give Stoke a lot of credit. Mark Robbins, apologies to those people for last week. I said Alex Neil last week, but Mark Robbins is well tuned at this level, knows the Championship inside and out. They have a squad of good Championship players who came with a game plan, put the ball up to the big man at the top, put the ball down the channels, which is exactly what we didn't do. When they got the ball down the channels, I think first half, and we'll go into the game in sort of detail in a minute, but first half you had not many chances for Stoke. And then second half, we just, we'll get onto it, but I think you're right. They did everything. They had a, I don't know, I'm probably going to butcher his name, Mubama, before he got sent off. I thought was having a stormer of a game. Zorba Thomas on the left was looking superb. Can't even remember who the other one was. Lewis Baker was pulling strings in midfield, and we just looked lacklustre across the pitch. But
I don't actually. I would argue that I don't think we looked, in my opinion, I don't think we looked that lacklustre in defence. In fact, I go as far as to say that first half for me, my man of the match for the first half was Nathan Wood. I actually think, considering he's come in for what was a kind of rocky kind of performance from Kwashi last against Ipswich, I think Wood came in and looked absolutely solid. And I think for the most part, I think he actually had their number 9 beat. I think he had him in his, I wouldn't go as far as say in his pocket, but I think he had the measure of him, and he was out muscling him. He was winning balls. I think Wood had a really good game. I think actually in defence we looked okay. We'll get on to the goals scored in a moment, but I think we looked okay. My issue is that we played it, and I think if you said to most, let's be honest, right? I think if you said to most Championship teams, right, you can have a midfield three of Flynn Downs, Shea Charles, and Matty Fernandez. I think most Championship teams would bite your hand off.
I would agree, but we're not really playing a midfield three.
Correct, we're not. And I think this is where I'm starting to find part of my problem with the formation, right? So what we are playing is we seem to be playing Shea Charles and Flynn Downs as almost 2 6s. And then you have like a forward attacking wing kind of midfield, a left and right attacking midfield of Robinson and Fernandez. And then you play a 9 of Armour. And if you, I wish I had a graphic to put on the screen right now, but if you line that up, what you have is a giant hole in the middle.
Yep.
A giant hole. Now, if you had Downs and Charles and sat right in front of them Fernandez, and you played 2 wingers because you played 4 at the back, what you don't have then is a glaring break. You have a playmaker, right? And I think for me, this is our biggest problem at the moment, because we get that ball to Downs or Charles in midfield, and we don't have a central outlet. When we push it out to a Robinson or a Fernandez, we then have to wait 25 minutes for the wing back to go past them. And at this point, what we've done is A, telegraph exactly where we're going, and B, given them chance to get numbers back behind the ball. And when they're away from home, what they're going to do? They're going to get numbers behind the ball, and they're going to go, nope, you're not getting past us. And we then have to try and see Jay Robinson, to be fair to him, throughout the course of the game, created a couple of chances, got some shots away, but he had to create those chances for himself for the most part, because we don't have any pace in attack. And when we do get the ball in attack, because we have a defensive lineup and we have no one in that central spot, we have to, I know Saints fans hate this, but we have to knock it across a couple of times whilst we wait for players to kind of try and push forward, at which point, like I say, they've got players behind the ball. So we have no speed in transition at all.
I agree with you. So if we just review the first half I think the first half overall was quite quiet.
I think we flew out the blocks though.
We had a fast start. Armstrong had a couple of half chances. Someone else had one, can't remember who it was, but Armstrong had a couple. He shot from a few places, one of them which I don't think he should have shot from. We then had Wellington go down injured. Obviously, that was right in front of us, and that looked nasty. When we say nasty, not a Stoke player's fault. He put a challenge in, it looked like he twisted his ankle. Yeah, so Will Steele's come out and said that it's not looking good. So, yeah, arguments, and there's been so many for and against with Wellington and Manning, but obviously Manning then came on to replace him, fine. Then the 1 to 2 chances that we had in the first half was Flynn Downs got the ball and he ran with it.
At them.
And he ran at them. And he beat one player. And he rode a challenge, beat one player, beat his second player, put the ball across the box. Robinson got a shot away. It hit the post. It came back out. He then obviously put it against the same post. I mean, what are the chances of that happening? Let's be honest. And at half-time, we said outside at half-time, we were concerned. We said before the game we were concerned. We thought this might have been the one where potentially we were going to slip up. And I said to you as well that I didn't think Stoke were going to be able to keep it up for the 90 in terms of the counter-attack, and they didn't, let's be honest. Then we came out from the second half, and within 5-10 minutes, Victor Johansson had made the absolutely spectacular save from Toba Harbour-Bellis, and I have no idea how he got to that.
Also, at half-time, Will obviously had seen that there was, I say Will, like he's my mate, the gaffer had obviously seen that there wasn't any teeth up front. Yep. Right, hence the title Toothless. There was no teeth up front, so he took off Armour and he put on Damien Downs. Now, I'm going to say as well, at that point, I feel a bit sorry for Armour. And I feel a little bit sorry for Armour in general, right? Because there's a lot of stuff that you see on social media about how he's a terrible striker. He got 26 goals in the last championship season?
24.
24 goals in the last championship season, which is no small feat, right? Mm-hmm. But where did he get those goals from?
He was playing as a winger and coming inside, and he was being fed. And the thing is when he plays, you mentioned that gap. You're asking the balls to go forward to someone who's 4'0".
Yep.
Hold the ball up.
Yep.
Keep it there for 5, 10,
which isn't
15,
his game.
seconds.
We know it's not his game.
And he spent the whole half making runs. Damien Downs spent the whole of the second half making runs. No one's interested in picking them out. And we'll get onto it because I'm going to rant later about the end of the game, and I can see Ian's in there, and he's exactly spot on where our midfield runs. That's the problem. There is nothing in terms of where they're going. But when you've got Armour starting a game up front, you imagine you're the two centre-backs. You're playing for Watford this weekend, for example, and they say, oh, they're playing the same formation, 5 at the back, Adam Armstrong's up front. They can sacrifice the defender because they ain't going to challenge him in the air. Whereas we're playing 5 at the back, 2 defensive midfielders. We're playing 7, 8 defensive players in a team that...
But if you play Armour where he played in the previous championship season in one of those wing-based positions, if you didn't play 5 at the back to start with, right? If you play whoever your right back is, hopefully this new chap.
I don't even know how to butcher Royslev. Mads.
If you play Mads at right back, you play, I don't know, let's say Stevens and Harbour-Bellis in the middle, and you play Manning at left back. And actually I would probably put him in over Harbour-Bellis at this particular point in time, if I'm honest, after Saturday's performance, first half at least. You put those four at the back, right? And then you play your Downs and your Charles, and you play Fernandez in the front middle, and you play Jay Robinson on one wing, and you can play Armour on the other wing. And I feel harsh at the moment because we're leaving out Ryan Fraser, I think he's had some blinding games, and I hold my hands up. I was wrong about him. He's looking good at the moment. He did come out in the press and say, well, I've actually had a pre-season this season. He actually said himself that last season I was rubbish. Fair play to him, right? And then you put like a Damien Downs or a Ross Stewart up front, and you actually have a target man that all these long balls can go to. Jesus, this is rocket science, right? Who can then bring it down, and Armour can start his run off the wing like we saw in the previous championship season, and the ball gets laid off to him. Suddenly we have an attacking threat.
Well, Ryan just said in the comments there, I didn't even see this, but apparently Will Steele said that Armour came off with a sore back.
I was news to me, okay.
That doesn't surprise me, considering the amount of balls that we were punting up long to him.
But you see what I mean? Like he's a player who feeds off of through ground balls. I think Cam Archer is probably the same.
Yep.
And what I think is quite sad at the moment is a lot of social media is saying, we need a new striker, our strikers are dreadful. Would you consider Armstrong as proven at championship level?
Yes.
Yeah, I would.
I consider Archer proven at championship level. I consider Stewart proven at championship
level. The only one arguably not as proven at championship level is Downs.
Yes.
So what we're saying is and I'm not saying he's a bad player, I'm just saying he's not proven at championship level. So what we're saying is 3 out of 4 of our players are proven goal scorers at championship level. So if we have got 3 out of 4 proven goal scorers at this level, what's the problem?
The supply.
100% the supply.
Having said that, and you're going to throw something at me now, we have the highest XG of any team
kids,
in the championship.
Fuck off.
We have
XG.
It's like 7.9 or something.
The man that came up with XG as a metric is a virgin. Facts. Absolute facts.
Had nothing better to do.
But my point is right though, right? We have 3 proven championship goal scorers. Now, I'm not saying that Armour, if we got promoted, for example, should be one of our strikers. You know, it's it's unquestionable, I think, that he's not quite Premier League level, but we know he's Championship level. We know he can score goals at this level. We know Ross Stewart can score buckets of goals. He's had a terrible few seasons of injuries, but we know he can score at this level. And we know that Cam Archer can score goals at this level. So if we've got 3 out of 4 strikers that can score lots of goals at this level, at this point, the striker problem isn't the problem. The problem is the supply. And the problem is we're not feeding the ball through. Now, would you consider Fernandes to be the kind of player who can play the ball through?
Yes and no.
I would. Would you consider Downs as the kind of player who can play a through ball?
You can do.
I would, yeah. So at this point, what we're then saying is we've probably got the players to play the supply as well. So what's going on?
Well, let's get on to that, because I feel like this is more of a conversation of what happened in the end of the game. So
yeah, let's go to the second half.
I've just mentioned, obviously, Taylor Harwood-Bellis had that. And this is the point, and I've just seen Stedders, is that how you say it?
Yeah, I would.
The meltdown at the moment is monumental, and let's make it very, very clear. We're not having a meltdown on this show. There's a bit of a rant coming.
I don't think he's talking about us having a meltdown.
No, I agree.
Media,
I think, but he is right. The meltdown on social media over everything
mad.
is on another day. Go on.
Do you know the biggest meltdown I've seen so far?
Go on.
There was a comment on a Facebook post in one of the Southampton groups.
Yeah.
And the person said, "When do we start talking about Will Still's position?"
Oh dear.
I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Not yet. No way.
Are you day drinking?
Yeah,
what?
Must be day drinking.
What?
So as I was saying, on another day, and we'll get onto the chances as we go. On another day, we put 4 in the back of the net and no one's having a win, right?
We had the opportunity to.
Robinson hit the post twice. Armstrong had a couple of half chances. Taylor Harwood-Bellis had a chance. So we could have been 2-3-0 out of the traps. Fine. Then, obviously, the ball gets passed to Flynn Downs in the middle of the park. He tries to turn with 3 players in front of him. Whether he's had a shout, whether he didn't, I don't know. It was stupid. The ball breaks. It comes down. Downs is too busy whinging that the ball's been passed to him. He's having a win. Shay Charles has jogged back. The ball comes into the middle. I don't even know who takes a shot.
Well, but as Bazunu pulls off a good save to stop the first one.
Pulls off a save. I think it's Lewis Baker that eventually puts it in, the ex-Chelsea graduate. And Stoke are 1 up. And I think at that point, we kind of knew that was coming, because we knew there was a mistake in us. There's always a mistake in us. And at that point, we've been fairly solid at the back. Because let's be honest, although I think at that moment Stoke had the best of the play, there was nothing that was really looking at us and going, they're really, really digging out some massive chances. And then for me, the changing point happened about 10 minutes later. And Mubama, whose interesting first name is Divin.
His name is Divin.
Divin.
Or I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but his first name is Divin.
Yeah, gets through. Obviously, he's fed through brilliant. I think it's Thomas that feeds him through. Again, the balls that we're not doing, he's fed someone through behind the defender. He's made a great run. Look, for any Stoke fans that are watching, and we're going to give a lot of praise to Stoke for their performance yesterday, but why he has dived there, I do not know. He was in. He didn't even need to fall over it. He had an empty net to tap it into. And rightfully, because the referee wasn't that bad yesterday. He wasn't the worst one we've had. He wasn't the worst
one he had, but I am getting frustrated with referees in general being conversation in football about how poor their performances are.
He gave a lot of stupid, niggly bits and pieces.
I actually think he reffed the game for the most part, okay.
We'll get to that in a minute, because I was having a conversation with one of our watchers, Steve, earlier about that, because Steve is qualifying to be a referee and he knows a lot. So obviously he's been sent off, and the referee's got that right. Good decision. My heart was in my mouth. I thought he was going to give a penalty. Everyone
I thought he was going to give a penalty, 100%.
And we've managed to. Suddenly we're playing against 10 men, and obviously our dad has turned around and gone, "Oh, we always struggle against 10 men." Let's be honest, he's right. We don't want to bring out Nathan Jones quotes, but he's right. We struggle against 10 men. Then within the space of 5 minutes, Flynn Downs manages to put it wide from about 3 yards because he's got a square head.
That was a bad miss.
It's a bad miss. Ross Stewart puts one over from 3 yards. That was not as bad a miss. Having said that, he was saved, because what I hadn't noticed at the time, and I saw it on the replay yesterday, was that the flag was up, so he was offside.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So the flag was up, so he's missed a chance, flag was up, fine. And then for about 5 minutes after that miss, we then talk, and I saw Ryan make this comment earlier, and this is why I'm worried, and we'll talk, it might come up in conversation. we seem to go back to Rust Ball.
Yeah.
Side to 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 side. And Stoke knew that you knew what Stoke were going to do the minute they were down to 10 men. They were going to sit behind the ball, and they dropped. The minute they scored, I said to Ian as well, and Ian's in the comments, he'll be able to claim for this. I immediately said, the minute they scored, they sat 5 yards deeper.
Yeah, of
the
course.
minute they scored.
Why wouldn't you away from home?
When they
With
had a
10
player
men?
sent off, they sat another 5 yards deeper. And they were basically saying to us, you need to break us down in the right way. And we panicked.
The thing is, when they put downs on for armour, and I wasn't aware about the back situation that one of our viewers has told us about, but when they put downs on for armour, we didn't change our shape. We didn't change our system.
No.
And there was a quote from Harwood Bellis at the end of the game, and he said, fair play to Stoke, they had a game plan, they executed it well. We didn't execute our game plan. Now, I don't know if this is just me, we didn't look like we had a game plan. So it wasn't like we were trying something new and it didn't come off. We just didn't have a game plan.
Well, I think we had a plan to a degree, and obviously we'd created chances. We're 1-0 up, and when they sat deeper after Mubama, I think his name, I'm keep butchering it because I can do, got sent off. We suddenly changed from trying to play, because we were at least trying to play and create some different things. And suddenly, I think he brought Stewart on. Yeah, he did bring Stewart on, obviously, because he missed a chance. Then suddenly it turned into long ball, long ball, long ball, long ball, get it to the box, float across, get it to the box, float across, end of the box, float across. And obviously that's where the second goal came from. So Ryan Fraser's floated the ball in, Victor Johansson has caught it, and I said to you the minute he caught it, we're in trouble here because Thomas was free. Thomas has whipped down the pitch, racing game against Stevens. He's beaten Stevens on the outside and put it under Bazuna.
But he's done what they've done at that particular juncture is something that we just don't seem to have in us at the moment. And again, I use this word transition, right? And from the keeper taking the ball to them scoring, it is a transition.
Yes.
I don't care what it says, it is a transition. They transition from defence to attack. And what they've done, and I kind of miss this quite a lot, is they've gone route one.
Yep.
Keeper's grabbed that ball, he's looked up. Thomas is, like you say, pretty much on his own, and he puts a throw out that is half the length of the pitch. Straight.
Yep.
Like, go on then, beat him one-on-one. I'm going to back you, Thomas. You can beat him one-on-one. And I don't think Steven stands him up very well.
I don't think Steven stands him up very well. There's potentially a question over Bazunu because it does go under him. Having said that, credits to Zorba Thomas. It's a great run. It's a good finish. He's done everything he can do. And at that point...
But the thing is, Ash, one of the reasons why that was a possibility as well is because we're now pushing for an equaliser that realistically by that point we shouldn't have had to have been pushing for. And the reason why he can launch that ball up front is because we've had players that have had to come forward to try and get that equaliser. Mm-hmm. So we've created gaps. Because the thing is, if you're 1-0 up, right, away from home, you can sit back a bit. You know the home team are going to have to push, and you can wait for a gap to open up. And that's essentially what they did. And what they did for the rest of the game at that point was they sat back, like you say, 5 yards deeper when they were on up, 5 yards deeper again when they conceded that red card, when they had that red card. And then they were, cool, we'll sit here, we'll soak. I think for the most part, they knew we didn't really have the keys to unlock their defence because we weren't playing any kind of nice through balls or anything like that. We were unlucky. Downs was a bit unlucky. Different day, that hits him and goes in the back of the net. Ross Stewart, if he was onside, was a bit unlucky. That could have gone in the net. Jay Robinson, when he hit the post the first time, it came back in at the other post. On a different day, that goes in.
Also missing the chance that he had, similar to Downs in the first half. So we've missed a lot of chances.
So this is what I'm saying. Different game, we could have been 2-3 up. At that point, they've got to push. And it's always easier when the opposition are pushing to hit them on the counter-attack and expose gaps, because gaps then form because you're having to attack to try and pull that equaliser back or get yourself back in the game. It was interesting because it wasn't a complicated goal, what we conceded there. It wasn't a mistake either. And what I think frustrates me the most is if you really think about it, and football's a wild game, and this is very easy to say in hindsight, but we don't make that silly mistake in the first instance to concede that first goal, we probably don't have that gap open up to then concede the second goal. Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
So, they did a good job sitting back and kind of inviting pressure. We did get across. We did get a corner, which meant we got our goal back in the game.
We scored from a corner.
Beautiful whipped-in corner from Matty Fernandez. Great header from Harwood Bellis. Interesting. You know why Taylor had some space.
Flynn Downs took a couple of players
Flynn Downs went on a little run, took a player or two with him Taylor Howard-Bellis had some space, and guess what? He got a goal. And that's the thing that we... So when you execute set pieces, when big clubs execute set pieces, they have routines, essentially, right?
Yeah.
It's essentially a dance routine, okay? So he does a hand signal, or a different hand signal, or a different hand signal, and he's telling them whereabouts he's putting that ball in the box, and they all run in a different direction, and then eventually the ball goes in, and the idea is they're trying to create a space for an attacking player to come in and go, you've made me some space, bang, the ball's in the back of the net.
Yeah.
We did it. We executed it perfectly. We scored from a corner. Not something we were used to in the last couple of seasons. We scored from a corner. The thing is, that thing that Flynn Downs did is the thing that we're not doing on the ball outside of set pieces. And I've said this a billion times before, and I'll say it a billion times again. The most important run a player will make is the one they make off the ball without any intent of ever receiving it. Mm-hmm. Because when you make that run, when you make that movement, when you've got 4 players flooding forward and one's got the ball and 3 are kind of jogging, the defence are like, well, we'll just jog with you. Cool. Oh. When you've got 4 people going forward and 2 go like that, guess what? Defenders have to go with them. Gap opens up. Third player goes, thank you very much, that's mine now. And we saw a couple of occasions when Damien Downs had come on, where he'll go across the back line and go. And the defender goes with him to start with. And guess who fills that gap? No one. No one filled that gap. And every time for the first 10 minutes, he made quite a few of those runs across the back line. And then he didn't even see anyone attempt to make the pass to him. And what I think we're seeing from our front men is coming on, being exciting, making a few runs and going, well, I'm not receiving the ball, so what's the point?
Well, this is the interesting point, isn't it? So we've pulled it back to 2-1. And let's be honest, we went 1-0 down. I thought the crowd might have turned a bit. They didn't. They stuck behind the team, went 2-0 down. The crowd still didn't turn. We got a goal back. Brilliant. I think we had a corner about 2 minutes after we got the goal back. We nearly had another chance at, I think Downs headed over or one that hit him or something. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. And then we've got, 15 minutes for stoppage time to push. We brought on Cameron Archer. We're playing 3 up front. And this now, so I'm not happy about conceding the 2 goals, but it's football. We're a team, effectively, you've mentioned transition, we're a team in transition at the moment. And the one thing that we'll talk about transfers later, we need transfer window to close.
We do need
the
close,
bench.
100%.
The bench isn't the strongest in terms of the players that we need with wingers.
Wingers, right, correct.
Wingers,
okay.
That's what I mean. We then spent 15 minutes, and this is what annoys me. The players did stop making those runs, and then we spent 15 minutes going side to side to side to side. And we were promised high-intensity football. And at the moment, we've had none of that. And whilst I'm not in meltdown, I'm not one of these stupid idiots. I haven't seen this comment as someone saying we need to talk about Will Steele's position.
Honestly, I couldn't believe it.
We've been promised high-intensity football. For the first 15 minutes yesterday, we pressed and we pressed hard. Then we stopped. We didn't do it for the rest of the game. In the last 15 minutes, we weren't pressing at all. We haven't got that player. We have players that can do it, but we haven't got that player that the ball gets bundled out to and they run. Even last minute yesterday, I think it was 96th minute, the ball goes out to Ryan Manning. All he needs to do is whip that over first time, but he still needs to take 2 or 3 touches. And I'm not singling Manning out for criticism.
No, I mean, I've got comments on Manning anyway.
Yeah, we've got all these little intricates, and I turned to Ian a point yesterday and I said, I don't know why it is. Even Archer did it at one point. He got the ball on like the D on the edge of the 18-yard box and did some sort of like stupid dink pass that went about 3 yards. It's like, what are you doing?
There was quite a lot of misplaced passes yesterday in general,
Yes.
And some of them I think were passes that we just didn't need to make. And as Chat alluded to earlier, there is remnants of Rust ball that still exist apparently. It's hard when you play a whole season under Russell Martin in the Championship and it goes as well as it went, and it did go pretty well on the whole, right? It is going to be hard to get them out of that habit. And one of the things I want to talk about, and one of the things I want to bring up for people that are on social media and Twitter and Facebook and what have you is we played a season last season where we won 2 games. He's not just playing a new season in the Championship. He's having to basically try and rebuild, in essence, every single one of those players, right? Especially the ones that took part last season.
Yep.
And so I think we do need a level of patience for him, but for Will specifically, I'm actually starting to really enjoy the way that he's talking in the press. I like him as a boss so far. We're ready to see if he's actually a good coach and he gets results and grinds results out. There was a few comments he made in the week in press conferences and stuff that I really loved. And people talked about the Southampton way, and he said, "But what is the Southampton way? Because last time that got you relegated. So, you know what good's that? What good's playing the Southampton way if you get relegated? What people care about is results.
Yes.
And I like the way he's talking. That being said, both the Wrexham game, the Ipswich game, and now the Stoke game, we've got towards the end of the game. We've got panicky that we're not going to get any points out of it. We put all our strikers on. It's like a bad game of FIFA.
It is.
It's a bad game of FIFA where you go, oh, I'm losing. I'm gonna go 4-2-4 and just put all my strikers on, and then you've got Stewart and Downs and Cam Archer, and they're all going, what do we do?
This is the next point on the show notes, and obviously James has made it here. I think our midfield yesterday was shocking.
I agree.
And I don't want to say
all
that
of them as well.
Shea Charles has started the season well. Matty Fernandez, obviously, you know what he's like. Flynn Downs, I've said it before, and I got shouted out last week saying this. I didn't think he was up to the pace. I don't think he's at the level that he knows he can be at. But I think all three of them yesterday were completely off the pace. Now,
even Fernandez was bad yesterday for the most part.
Whether that's because Matty's head potentially might be elsewhere, we don't know. He's let's be honest, he's allowed a bad game. Everyone's allowed a bad game.
Yeah.
It happens.
What I liked about Charles and Fernandez yesterday is there was a couple of times both of them made some pretty poor passes or lost possession, and what I saw from them at least was chasing back and going,
yes,
oh shit, I'm going to get back and try and recover this. I'm not quite seeing that from Downs at the moment. I will also say that I do think for the most part, now third game in, we are looking fitter than last season. I don't think we're looking fit enough to press for 90 minutes yet or play the intensity he wants to play, but we do look fitter than last season, because last season we didn't really have any puff, to be honest with you, at all. So, interesting. I've seen it also on the show notes that you, and I'm going to talk about this, right? Because I've seen this mentioned a lot anyway, specifically on Twitter. Added time. So we obviously had a bunch of substitutions made. We had the red card incident, and what we also had was, and this is where I am going to criticise Stoke, because I think on the whole, they turned up, they played their game, They executed their game plan, they did what they needed to do to beat us, right? Fair play to them for that. But they also employed some of that dark arts shite that I really detest. I really detest it. There was a couple of occasions where the keepers held onto the ball for 11 or 12 seconds. There was a couple of occasions where, and I actually like, there's a thing that happened that the referee did, and I actually really like what he did here. A player in the box went down, a defender went down and held his head, and the ref called the trainer on, and the players go, no, we don't want the trainer. Sorry, mate, you've held your head. You've called head injury. So the trainer comes on, and what happens when the trainer comes on? The player has to go off the pitch.
For 30 seconds, yeah.
For 30 seconds. But so there was a number of occasions where players were complaining about injuries and going down, and obviously what they're doing is people say they're trying to run the clock down. Well, the ref can clock off here. What they're actually trying to do is stop any level of momentum that we have.
Yes.
And slow us down and get you less hyped. And they did that very well. And then we saw the fourth official put up his board, and he only put up 5 minutes. And I will agree, it was less than it should have been. Without doubt, I think that was less than it should have been.
He did play 7, though.
He did play 7 because they were still doing some time wasting during the 5. My point is, however, we shouldn't be waiting for a 97th minute to score an equaliser at home.
No, we shouldn't.
So when fans are on social media saying, that ref didn't play enough stoppage time, what does it matter? We should have been 2-3-1 up at that point, minimum.
Yeah.
We okay, it should have been more. It should have been more, and I agree it should have been more. But if you're having to we waited until the 97th minute or 95th minute to score the winner versus Wrexham. We shouldn't be leaving games till that late. You should play 90 minutes.
We shouldn't be. I think the whole point on yesterday, and obviously, like you said, there's been a lot of people who will have meltdowns over this. The show title is Toothless because we were toothless yesterday.
We were toothless.
Having said that, into the show title as well, I think this is a wake-up call, and we all said it yesterday, all of us that stand around that little area in our northern stand, where they said, we'd rather have the wake-up call now than in 3 weeks' time. If we're sat here in 3 weeks' time, having won today, having won on Saturday, but then lost at home to Pompey because we've done something absolutely stupid like that, or we've not worked it out and we've just had a bad game, this needs to be the moment. And do you know what? Maybe playing 5 at the back is still Will Steele's way of saying to the board, look, hurry up. I need these players, please.
So we'll move on to the championship, the transfer, in just a second, because he did come out in the press and say that he is looking at a 10. He wants a creative player. He wants a winger, at least one winger. So there is transfer talk to talk about. We will get onto that. But we obviously have to talk about a man of the match.
Well, I can talk about the poll. I don't agree with the members' poll.
So at half time, if you'd have asked me who your man of the match was at that point, I probably would have said Nathan Wood, if I'm honest.
Yes.
At the end of the game, I don't really have one.
I still would have said Nathan Wood.
I think you talked about Ryan Manning coming on, right? I will go on record right now as saying that for me personally at the moment, I am a Ryan Manning over Wellington person. I think I'd rather see him on.
I think most people are.
One of the things we did see when Manning come on, we started seeing a lot more balls getting whipped into the box, and some of it was pointless nonsense, and some of it were good deliveries. I really like Ryan Manning for that moment alone. I think if I was going to pick a man of the match who played the majority of, if not the whole game, I'd probably have to say Fraser, simply because I think at the moment he's played 3 games where he's run his arse off for all 3 games. He's putting crosses in the box. He's being a nuisance. He's battling. He's fighting. He's being a little wasp when he needs to be. Mm-hmm. And I think he didn't have a bad game, but I think he didn't have a bad game compared to a squad of people that didn't have a great game at all. So I think, for me personally, first half performance, I'd have gone Nathan Wood. Overall game, I'm probably going to say Ryan Fraser.
So the members have spoken, and for those that don't know, obviously you have the chance to become a member or gift members, etc. I'm sure Liam will mention that again in a minute. But the members have gone for Taylor Harbour-Bellis as a man of the match. I don't necessarily think he had a bad game or put a foot wrong. I think potentially some people might pick Taylor Harbour-Bellis to put the ball in the back of net.
I think there was 1 or 2 moments where he lost possession in dangerous zones, but we got away with it. I think for the most part, though, he had a better game than we've seen him have of late. I'm not against him having man of the match, and he also scored. So there is that. It wasn't like he's only got the accolade because he scored. I think he had a solid game on the whole. I just think that there was a couple of moments where he looked a bit. He didn't look like an England centre back, right?
Well, it's interesting because, like I said, the members have gone for Taylor Harbour-Bellis, but there's a few people that said this to me yesterday, sort of half time, and said Nathan was having a terrible game, and I thought, what game are you watching?
Yeah, so the members poll for man of the match we do at the end of every single game of football Saints will play. Ash puts the poll up
in a Discord server.
I'd like to do more things for members at the moment. I need some time to sit down and work out what we're going to do for members. We do have a current giveaway running. The best way to support us, we currently operate this podcast at a loss. We operate the show at a loss in general. And I'm footing the bill for it. So if you want to support us, going forward, you want us to continue to make shows, continue to follow Saints in the following seasons, best way to support us is become a member. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, you can become a member by heading over to YouTube, hitting that join button and becoming a member. There's a number of different tiers. They all support us. You're all incredible if you are a member. If you're already a member, there are ways in which you can gift memberships to other people to give them a peek behind the curtain. They get access to the Discord server, etc. You get access to the free area anyway, even if you're not a member, but they get access to the additional areas if you gift a membership. They can look at those polls and what have you. And you can gift 1, 5, 10, 20, 50 if you want to. That also obviously supports us. It's just as important as people being a member all by themselves. If you have a membership for 3 consecutive months by the end of this month, so if you've had 2 already, you've got literally a week to get your membership in. At the end of the 3 months, we'll be doing a draw, and someone at random will be winning a home or away shirt, actually any shirt of your choosing, that I'll go and buy from the store for you and ship it off directly to you. And once you've given me your address, I can then sit outside in the bushes and watch what you're doing.
With a box of donuts and a telescope.
Naked. Anyway. So we're going to move on to the transfer, because we are still in that horrible period of the season where we're playing games and the transfer window's open. Hate it. Absolutely hate it. But it is what it is. We have transfers to talk about. So we did a bit of genius transfer business where Maz Verslev from Brentford was signed. And not only was he signed, but he spent a whole day at Staplewood doing his stuff and things, and there wasn't a single social media post about it anywhere.
Fabrizio had no idea.
The club got this done with no one talking about it at all, which I like, to be honest. It's good business. I had no idea who he was. No idea at all. So I did a bit of digging, a little bit of research.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
I wouldn't profess to be an expert on him. I watched some content about him. He looks really solid in defence. He looks like he has the bit that Sugawara doesn't have. It looks like he's very good at standing a man up. It looks like he's he's definitely a Will Still player. Absolute workhorse.
Yeah.
They've nothing that I've seen will say he'll do anything but run for 90 minutes. Right, fans, stay calm. The biggest criticism of Mats Roycelev, right? Have you seen this? Have you seen the biggest criticism of him?
No.
Sometimes he can be too keen to play a sideways or backwards pass rather than attacking.
Fits him well then, doesn't he?
And I was like, oh, I wish you'd never read that.
But to be honest, he came on yesterday. He did all right. He's only been with the squad for a day. And I think this is the point in terms of not panic. If this is the middle of September, October, and we're still playing this way, we can panic. But at the moment, he's trying to gel his squad. We'll get on to... There's a lot of links that I haven't put on here and stuff as well, but we know there's going to be there should be a lot of movement in the next 7 to 8 days.
Yeah. So Mads has come in. Good deal done. He also has a number of Premier League games under his belt.
But 94, I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, close to 100 Premier League games under his belt. You know, you say he's not a terrible player. And he's definitely a solid championship player. Okay. It's been interesting watching the reaction to this on social media and hearing some of the chat around the ground. We have a still not yet fully confirmed.
So his medical was booked for
yesterday?
Monday. I think his medical's booked tomorrow.
Was he not travelling yesterday then for his medical?
No, he's travelling today. He's flying from Farnborough.
Tyler Dibling, right? I think it's no surprise to Saints fans that he's on his way out. I think we probably all expected it. We all anticipated it. He had been training aside from the squad. He wasn't training in full training with the squad. He was in full training just before the last game. The press asked Will Still if we could read anything into that. He said absolutely not. And then he's now not, right? It's rumoured that he had already agreed personal terms with Everton months ago, actually, interestingly.
Yeah,
it's also reported that the club Southampton went back to Everton and said, let's reignite this and get this deal done, and that we approached them. And it's rumoured that Saints had significantly reduced their asking price for Dibling. Now, supposedly the deal looks like this, right? £42 million for Dibling, plus Sky Sports have reported £6 million of achievable add-ons.
Yep.
So essentially 42 to £48 million, plus, get this is the best part, right? A 20% sell-on fee. Now, I don't think Dibling's a bad player. I think he looks like he could be an incredible player. I also don't like to see academy prospects leave. I'm going to get that. I'm not going to say, this is great, this is brilliant, because I would have rather we kept him if we could. I would, genuinely. Honestly, think if he was like, I'm a club man, I'm here for Southampton, and he was going to put 100% in and fight for the team and fight for the club and fight for promotion, I would have much rather kept him. So this isn't copium right now. However, I think for that particular deal, based only on what he's done so far, not necessarily on his potential, I think we've had their pants down.
I think we have had their pants down. Now, we've got a few people. I'd be interested to know. We've got 82 people watching at the moment. I'd be interested to know what chat think about it, because there's a few people that I've spoken to that we can see. Matt and Ian have said, there, result of a deal, great deal. Is there anyone that doesn't like the deal? Is there anyone who thinks that we've been hard done by or something?
I was very concerned that we would see him go out the door for 20 million quid, right?
Yeah.
Because it's Saints, and we don't seem to be able to drive hard bargains for our best players. And I thought we'd see him go out the door for 20 million quid. And I would have probably been okay with... Someone said to me not too long ago, what would you take for him? I was like, 30, 35. I would say the club would probably take that. To be able to go back to Everton and say, you want him, and to then get him for 42 plus add-ons, plus 20% sell-on clause, whoever did that deal, from Saints' perspective, I think that's a very, very good bit of business.
Personally, I think it's brilliant business.
And you're going to really hate me for this. I think it gives us the capacity, potentially, to hold on Fernandes. I'm not saying we will. I think it gives us the capacity to. I think if you sell Dibling for 20 million quid, you probably have to shift Matty for 20 or 30 million quid. I think shifting Dibling for 42 million quid gives you the capacity. Now, it might be that Fernandes doesn't want to stay. It might be that Fernandes himself chooses to go. I also think that if you can command 40 million quid for Dibling, you can command close to the same for Fernandes. People were saying that if you can command 42 for Dibling, you can command 50 Fernandes. You're forgetting the fact that Fernandes isn't young and English, and there's the English tax that occurs with someone like Dibling, right? But I think it gives us at least that capacity to hold on to him.
I think Tyler Dibling has had bits of good performances. So to get nearly 50 million for a player who has shown glimpses, you and Dad made the point yesterday, he's probably going to be brought in to work alongside Jack Grealish for a year and be in that aspect. Everton obviously had a very good win at home to Brighton today. At the, I'm not even going to say it, New Goodison Park. I'm not calling it Flipping Hill Dickinson, whatever it's called. But if he doesn't want to be
Is that what it's called?
it's the Hill Dickinson Stadium or something. I don't know. But we did talk last week about selling name rights for the stadiums. I think it's I think it's Steve actually there who's said. I think it's he's right. The deal puts less pressure on us from a financial perspective. So that for Dibling is a good thing. If we can shift others on, so we'll go on to exits at the moment because I've got the exits here in it. So Sugawara has been told that apparently by the Japanese national coach that he needs to play for a team in the top 5 leagues. I'm assuming he means football leagues and not the Zurich Premiership. Not the Zurich Premiership anymore, is it?
No.
The rugby one. I don't know.
But I think we'll probably see Sugawara leave.
Well, he's been linked to PSG, but unbelievably.
I'm not that sad about it.
We've also been told by Will Steele that we are waiting for deals for Joe Rebo and Sam Edozie to be completed, but he said end of the week. It's the end of the week, Will. Come on, put them out.
Does he mean the end of this week? Or, yeah, okay, right. Bella Kotchap
has been linked with a loan move to Nantes.
Linked, it was reported that it's done.
Reported that it's been done, but this is the problem. There's a lot of deals at the moment, and this is why I think there might be. You mentioned it last week with a lot of these things, and I think the Eze deal for Arsenal was going to start a lot of this in action. There's going to be a domino effect.
There's always domino effect when we don't sit at the top of the tree.
Effect. And I would expect we need the money to come in. So I'm not expecting anything to be announced for us until Dibling is sold and gone, and we've got the money in our account. And then with potentially a Dozie going, Bella Kotchap going, Ariba going, and then another Sugawara going, and another random one that's popped up today. Now, the source is not necessarily the most reliable, but Will Smallbone to Wrexham for £7.5 million.
Interesting.
Now, that's not confirmed. That's a rumour. Make that clear, that's a rumour. But I'd snap your hands off for that.
Would you?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't think he's worth £7.5 million.
I also think that he's an academy player as well, right?
Yes.
So 100% profit?
Yes.
Banging. Bella Kotchap to Nantes also is apparently a upfront fee and 100% wages, which if that's the case, because it's a loan with option to buy.
Yep.
Which is weird because I thought his contract was up in a year. So loan with option to buy for a season is weird unless the option to buy is January, which is still weird. But
I don't know the exact ins and outs in it, but we'll get on to more in a minute. So that's the exits is where we are because I'm away with Tom Thumb. That's the exits. So when we go live next week, we'll still have 23 hours of the transfer window left. Now, the only thing that does worry me with Matty, obviously, potentially was his performance yesterday. But
so you're saying we do a 24-hour live transfer show?
I mean, I've got work on the 1st of September.
Nah, you're sick. You'd be sick.
Anyway, so we then come to the incomers. Now, obviously, we're not going to cover too much because there's not a lot. And actually, this is the point that we're in at the moment is that there's a lot of rumours. So we had rumours for Edouard Spezia, and that's gone very quiet. And apparently, his contract actually run until 2029, not 2026.
Well, the rumour is that the club approached the Football League about payments, and the Football League said, "Leave it alone, don't touch it."
Well, this is again that's now been rubbished in the last sort of 5-6 hours.
Has it? Interesting. Okay,
we've had links to Finn Azaz, we've had links to players from Man City, we've had links to
Jack Radini,
which again he scored twice yesterday. That's now the player doesn't want to lift. So there's a guy, 2 or 3 guys. Morgan, I'm going to butcher this, Gualvogi or whatever it is from Lons. Apparently we were in talks. Fabrizio Romano mentioned that. Will Steele also, it's been highly reported as well that we're going to bring in a third keeper. Now I think James or Ryan said it earlier about do we think Bazunu is good enough for a first choice?
I think he's been solid so far.
I think there's question marks over the goal yesterday. I think he's been solid so far. I don't think we need to have the conversation whether we think he's going to be good enough because I think we just have to accept that he's going to be our number 1 this season.
Yeah, I don't think he's looked shaky at the moment. Well, I mean, the problem is you don't know a keeper's got a mistake into him until you see that mistake, right? And that mistake could cost you a game. I don't think we're going to... Although, interestingly, the keeper that played for Stoke yesterday...
Victor Johansson.
Last transfer window, £1 million.
Yeah, I know. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. But look, like I said, in terms of where we are from that aspect, we're looking at... There's a load of incomings and outgoings at the moment. So we're looking at potentially a third keeper apparently coming in. I think assuming deals go the way that they want them to, we're potentially looking at 3 or 4 going in. There's also rumours about people like Matsuki going out on loan. So
there was also a rumour about Ben Barrett Diaz going as well, and a number of clubs apparently interested in him.
Middlesbrough, and I think it's Norwich who looks at that. And this is the point: as we get to this stage, agents are now getting desperate, and they're now flicking out all these rumours to try and see if there's any truth in them. So
it'd be interesting.
There's been not a lot happening today. It wouldn't surprise me if by the time we get to this time tomorrow, and I'm off for next week, I actually don't have any work for a week. I can't lie, I've had a week off already. I'll be all over it, over social media. So, guys, if you haven't got it, go and follow our Twitter, Facebook, all that sort of stuff. I'll be all over it.
What time's the transfer window close?
It closes at 7 o'clock on the 1st of September. It's a Monday.
Do we move the show? We'll just do this live. Do we move the show to 8 p.m. on the Monday? Because the transfer window's closed?
Ooh, what a chat want us to do.
It's interesting as an option, maybe. Because then we can report on the full transfer window as well.
Do we do 2?
I'm open to it. 10 members and we'll do 2. Right.
Come on, guys, get 10 members up. We'll do 2 shows next week.
Pompey game. Right, let's talk about the Pompey game, because you're right with what you said earlier, right? I'd rather have our hiccup now and a wake-up call now.
Yes.
And I think it's actually probably a positive to have that wake-up call before the transfer window closes, because it's possible that Will can go to Spurs and go, look, we need some support. And I'm sure they're working hard to get it done. And it is important that we have it before Derby Day. That being said, Derby Day is Derby Day. Form book goes out the window for Derby Day, as it always does.
Always does.
But I actually want to criticise the club. I want to criticise Southampton. I am fully up for laughing at the Skates at every opportunity. Fully up for it. I'm fully up for making them out to be fools, idiots, and all sorts. But I think the pricing for the away day for Pompey fans is disgusting. The club have chosen to charge £40 a ticket. We complained at £43 for Ipswich, right? They're charging Pompey fans £40 for a ticket, which is already, right? It's already steep. Because of the bubble, they also have to pay travel at
$22.50.
Thank you. I thought it was $22.50 for travel, right? So a Portsmouth fan coming from Gosport, or wherever he's coming from, to come to St Mary's is having to pay £62.50 just to get in.
Yeah.
Where they'll be shepherded straight into the ground.
Yeah.
And charge £7.30 for a pint of piss. Right? That's not good. That's not good.
What's the problem, though? They'll pay it.
Of course they will.
There's been some criticisms around this, so I'm gonna. Oh, hello. I'm gonna look at. There's 2 sides of the story. Firstly, it's Pompey. Who cares? I get that, right? There's that conversation. There's other conversations where people have turned around and said, "Oh, but you know, it's extortionate. You should be charging that amount of money for a family day out. If you're coming to St Mary's as an away fan for a family day out, you're probably in the wrong line. You don't really understand what it's about."
Of course you're not. But how much do Saints fans complain that Ipswich charge 43 quid a ticket? Right?
Yeah.
As near as fuck it is to swearing, we're charging the same. We cannot complain about clubs charging us 43 quid and we then do it.
But on the 24th of January, you want to go to Pompey and they're charging 40 quid a ticket. Are you going, or are you just going to say, no, it's too expensive, I'm not going to go?
I don't know.
You'll go. I know you'll go. You wouldn't even care.
I don't know.
I mean, you literally said to me at the stadium yesterday, I don't care how much it costs, I just pay. That's literally what you said when you bought about. But to be fair, he's talking about buying beer, and that's very, Philian.
I was drinking cider, thank you. It was a lovely sunny day.
All right, it's alcohol, nonetheless.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with that being in mind, I think it's disgusting to a point, but this is, I think, a wider conversation for the Football League.
No, and I agree. This isn't specifically because it's Portsmouth. I still think it's harsh that they have to pay £62.50 to come from down the road just to come, which is essentially a 25-minute drive for most of them, right? Yeah. But it is 100% a question for the Rival Football League, because in the Premier League, away ticket prices are capped.
Yeah.
We should be seeing that everywhere.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
No, we should be. The question will be, and Ian just made the point as well, excuse me, what will they charge us in return? So I think it's going to be an interesting one. We know they're going to sell out. we'll do a show because we'll do a show during the international break, which will be kind of a review of where we are so far.
If I was Pompey, you know what I'd do? I'd charge us 41 quid a ticket.
Oh yeah, totally.
I'd be childish.
I'd be charging Ipswich 44.
Exactly.
So we'll see how we get on to. And by the way, guys, 5 more members, and we do 2 shows next week.
Wider championship, the wider championship in general, right?
And football.
And football in general, yeah. So the 3 promoted teams
Yes.
have won a game in the Premier League.
In the first 2, so
Well done.
yes.
I'm glad. Maybe it gives us some hope. That being said, Leeds did get battered yesterday by Arsenal.
They did, but I think I watched Leeds at, much to the disgrace of my wife, who when we were on holiday, I watched Leeds away at Everton away at Leeds, and Leeds it was that Ellen Road atmosphere. I think it was a questionable penalty decision that got them that. Obviously, we've spoken about Sunderland beating West Ham, and I don't think we'll speak about West Ham much at the moment because they are not in a very good place.
No. Their fan base is having a meltdown.
Their fan base is having a proper meltdown. And then obviously Burnley beat Sunderland yesterday, and Sunderland had their chances, I think. And so the reason why I put this, I think you said about giving us hope. Last season, it was the 2nd of November that we beat Everton, and that was when every team that had been promoted had finally won a game. Done within the first 2 games of the season. So does it now potentially mean there might be a little bit of hope? Now, I'm well aware that saying that, it might mean that in 3 weeks' time, there's absolutely nothing. And they've all lost,
we'll
and we're
see.
like, oh, they look dreadful.
We'll see. I think potentially some of the lower clubs in the Premier League who aren't relegated, recently relegated or recently promoted, I think the gap between some of those and newly promoted is closing. I think what we have, unfortunately, is the gap with the top sort of 8 is just expanding. And Arsenal battered Leeds yesterday 5-0, whilst also having 2 of their most creative players go off injured.
Yeah.
So Saka went off injured, and so did Odegaard. Odegaard was injured within about the first 20 minutes. He went off about 44 minutes into the game. So they played without Odegaard for half the game, and they played without Saka for some of the game, and still managed to put 5 past Leeds.
I watched the game,
and it looked comfortable.
Leeds were poor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It looked comfortable.
And I think on another day, they've obviously got Gyökeres up front, and obviously you're right in terms of the top 8, but then Brighton lost to Everton today, and Villa lost at Brentford, and I'm not watching as much Premier League for obvious reasons. On Friday night, did I watch Chelsea versus West Ham? Actually, to be honest, I've watched both games. I've split-screened it, but much again to the wife's annoyance. But the Premier League is, I don't know. Anyone see that second goal that Spurs scored on Saturday?
Man City trying Rust Ball.
Mr. Guardiola, are you sure you want to drop Edison and bring in James Trafford? Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, that was a bit embarrassing, wasn't it? Fair play to Spurs.
Talking about embarrassing.
But but the thing is, you know what Spurs did? They high pressed the whole game.
The whole game.
Look at that.
I know.
And Man City couldn't cope.
I know. And they got embarrassed. And as I said, talking about embarrassing, move on to the championship results for yesterday. Any QPR fans around?
Yeah.
Awkward.
Definitely going to convince Radini to come to Saints when he scores 2 in a 7-1 victory over QPR and we lose 2-1 to Stoke.
Yeah. Well,
to be fair, the amount of people, what I find hilarious on Twitter, right? The amount of people that say, I hope Matty Fernandes isn't watching that West Ham result, or words to that akin, right? Or Jack Radini won't come to Saints now because after I'm like, let's be clear, chat. The players they don't care about the results. We're not watching the results. They're watching the checkbook. Aren't they? West Ham go, all right, we got hammered by Chelsea on Friday, but we're going to pay you $100,000 a week more than you're currently being paid. Matty's like, love you Saints fans, but I'm off.
Well, this is the only thing that worries me about Fernandes is his agent. His agent is Jorge Mendes, who is like super agent, and he is the one of the best at moving. He's not. Yeah, he is. All agents.
All agents are knobs. Exactly. There we go.
So if we move on to the championship very quickly, then before we round up the show. Clearly, chat don't want us to do 2 shows next week.
We might anyway.
Well, yeah. We have had wins for Leicester. Leicester won at Charlton. Oh no, Nathan Jones lost the game. Watford won at Swansea. Blackburn battered Hull. Birmingham beat Oxford. Middlesbrough won at Norwich. Preston beat Ipswich, and Millwall beat Sheffield United.
Good old Ruben Seller's doing really well, isn't he?
He's doing very, very well.
I bet they're so glad they sacked their manager that got him in the playoffs.
Oh, that took him to the final. Had a bad game. Yeah, absolutely looking brilliant.
That has to be... What's more mental? Sheffield United getting the playoff final and sacking...
Chris Wilder.
Chris Wilder, or Tottenham winning the European trophy and sacking Ange Postecoglou? Which one's more mental?
At the moment, you're going to say the Sheffield United one is more mental because Thomas Frank has gone in. They nearly won the Super Cup against PSG, blew it in the last few seconds, and they've won their first 2 games of the season. Scored 5, no return. Done. Easy.
Yeah.
So that's where they are. And then obviously the last one again, and I'm going to mention it because we played them first game of the season. Obviously everyone was giving it the big one. But Wrexham said at half-time yesterday, they're on to first league win in the Championship.
2-0 up at half-time.
And I'm sure if Nick's watching, he's very happy that Sheffield Wednesday managed to pull back a point, especially with Sheffield United being rock bottom at the moment. And I know it's only 3 games in, but they're rock bottom.
Yeah, Wrexham couldn't hold on to a 2-goal lead at the racecourse. 2-2. Interesting.
Yeah, and they've got Millwall next.
I will go as far as to say 2 things so far for me in the Championship. I know we're complaining about being toothless. I know we're worried about transfers. I know we're worried about whether the team will be good enough to push on and be clinical and be lethal and be frightening to other teams. I get all that. We are only 3 games in. I am, however, looking forward to going into every game going, I don't know whether that's a win or loss.
Yeah.
Rather than in the Premier League, that's probably a loss, that's probably a loss, that's probably a loss, right? Mm-hmm. And I have complained a little bit about the officiating so far. I think he wasn't horrific this game we had this last weekend, but I am really enjoying, after watching a bit of Premier League yesterday, I am really enjoying the lack of VAR.
Yeah.
I am really, really enjoying if the ball goes in the net and the flag isn't up, it's a goal. Can we just agree that VAR is shocking and get rid of it? Because honestly, anyway, cool. Next week, right?
Yes.
Tuesday we're away at Norwich in the Cup. We were talking about this earlier,
Yeah.
and you said to me you don't care about the Carabao Cup. Do you? I don't. I don't care. I'd almost, if it wasn't for the fact that winning becomes a habit, I would rather we got knocked out.
Let's be honest, realistically, we're not going to win it. In terms of where I am right now, I would say throughout the kids, now Moses Sesse has a great pre-season, we've not seen him. Throughout the kids, play the players that haven't played much this year, put players in, we know McCarthy's going to be in goal, we know Ryan Mann will have to play left back because we've got no other left backs. But throughout a sort of second string side, get them to don't stop playing 5 at the back. Just play 4 at the back and just have a game and go, right, guys, just go and play, enjoy yourselves, express yourselves. And I know that's what he's kind of trying to say at the moment, but go and enjoy yourselves, play the game of football, do what you need to do. If we win, we win. If we don't win, it's not the end of the world. And yes, you're right. Winning does become a habit, but it doesn't become that much of a habit, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Losing one cup game isn't going to matter. The more important game. So, I mean, I've put it in there because we need to talk about it. I don't know if anyone's going to Norwich. Fair play. Matt Jamesbury is injured. I don't know if anyone's going to Norwich, but if you go in, safe journey. Hope you come back with a result. It's only £12 a ticket, so if you're not going, you want to go.
Fair play to them for the ticket prices, though.
Ticket. Yeah,
I'll give them that much, like 100%.
Very good.
And then on to the important one. Tuesday away at Watford.
Saturday away at Watford.
Saturday away at Watford. Yes, I know what I meant.
Saturday away at Watford. Yes, we are away at Vicarage Road. Now, Watford are on the same level as points for us, the same, etc., etc.
We're 1 draw, 1 lost 1.
1-1 draw, 1 lost 1. They've got another new manager. I can't pronounce his name. It's Pezzolano or something like that. It's
Pedro.
Well, it's Paolo.
Paolo, then.
Paolo, Pezzo, whatever.
Paolo.
He's obviously.
They're all Pedros or Paolos, aren't they?
He's on a rolling contract. He's going to be out of a job in 6 months. They won at Swansea at the weekend with a great free kick from I can't even remember his name. He won it, to be fair.
Dave.
No, they didn't win at Swansea. They drew. Sorry, of course they did, because they got 4 points. But Watford are one of those teams again. They could be here or they could be here because they've been in the Premier League before. They've got a good squad of players. It's really early on the season. We just don't know.
What's their lethality up going forward? Are they looking dangerous going forward or not?
Depends what game they played, doesn't it? So they've played some games where they've looked absolutely toothless, and they've played some games where they look fantastic. The goal they scored yesterday was a fantastic free kick.
I think it would do us a world of good if we could actually keep ourselves a clean sheet. I'm going to go 2-0 Saints.
Interesting. I'm going to go 1-1.
Okay. Chat, what do you think?
I'm going to go 1-1. Come on, chat, get your predictions in. We're only 3 members away from that match.
Nah. Do you know what? If we don't do both shows, I think we should move it to Monday anyway.
Well, what do chat think? They want us to do both, or do they want us to do one?
Well, they said when we said should we move it to Monday, there was a lot of yes, move it to Monday in the chat.
But was there move it to Monday, or was it do both?
Do you not need to get permission from the better half instead first anyway? I think you probably should. So Matt McManus says 2-1 win to Saints. Cameron calls it 2-2. Silence Fall says 4-1 Watford. I mean, if we have a bad game, I wouldn't put it past our defence for shipping 4 goals.
It was the same time last year, and we lost 5-0 at Sunderland.
Do a Monday show. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. 3-1 Saints for Ian. 2-1 Saints to Ryan. So a lot of people are saying Saints wins. Interesting. Okay. That agrees with Ash. About what?
The score prediction, I'm assuming.
1-1?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Well, obviously next week, tune in on probably at least Monday. We'll let you know if we're doing both. Keep an eye on Discord and on our social media pages, specifically Twitter or X, whichever you want to call it, where we will let you know. And it might be that we do a game review on Sunday and we do a transfer window short review on Monday, perhaps. We'll see. So look out for that. We'll tell you on the social medias. But we will obviously review the game on Sunday. Is it on? It's not on telly, is it?
Saturday,
yeah. We'll review the game on Sunday or Monday.
You have to find a dodgy stream to watch it.
I have a way.
I know you do.
Are you working?
I'm not.
What?
I'm not. I might be able to work it out. I'm not sure. It depends on whether I can. I'll talk to you about it in a minute.
Okay, cool. There you go. So 1-0 and a striker scores. Now we know you're talking crack. Now I know you've been day drinking Smeg for Brain. You people have been amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We do have a couple of things to talk about because you wonderful people have decided to be a bit generous. What's going on? Why is it doing this?
Have you got the wrong pad? No,
So
what? I'm putting on the wrong thing now.
I fixed it, mate.
Press the wrong buttons.
I fixed it. I know what I'm doing. Where is my settings for chat? Chat filter. There we go. Fan funding. So we first of all want to say a big shout out to Matt McManus. So at the start of the show, chucked a $4.99 super chat at us, who said, if it was Kwashi against that forward instead of Stevens, would he have scored? Well, Stevens wasn't necessarily outpaced by him because Kwashi is faster. Stevens just didn't stand him up very well.
I think it's an interesting point that Matt makes, actually. I think that if Kwashi is the one there, then potentially he gets in front of Thomas. The issue being, realistically, is when the goal goes in and Stevens is still on his own. No one else has run back with him, realistically. So I think it's an interesting point to make. Kwashi, I think, was rightfully dropped. I also questioned the move to take Nathan Wood off when they took him off. But having said that, he had quite a significant nose injury at the time, if you remember. He'd had to change his shirt.
Yeah, he had to change shirt for blood.
So I do question the move to take Nathan Wood off because I thought he had them. But then again, his main job was to mark Mubama, and he'd been sent off.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting question, Matt. Honestly, I can't give you an answer. I haven't seen Kwashi in enough one-on-ones to say whether he would or wouldn't. I just think he's got too many mistakes in him.
He just looks raw, doesn't he?
At the moment, at this very moment in time, if you said to me, would you play Stevens or Kwashi, I'd play Stevens every time.
Yes.
At the moment. That's not to say that Kwashi won't evolve into a very competent and decent centre-back for us, but I think he's going to need more coaching, more time before he's at the level that we need him to be at to sit alongside perhaps a Stevens and a Taylor Harwood, Bellis or whatever. That being said, at the moment, I think I wouldn't play 3 centre-backs. So, you know.
I mean, I wouldn't have played 3 centre-backs at all, but yeah, that's fun.
We have to say a big shout out to Matty Jones for the 1 gifted. Thank you very much for working that one out, Matty. Thank you, Silence Falls, for 1 gifted membership. And then a big shout out to Matthew Hedeker for 5 of the finest gifted memberships. So 7 people that now have access to the Academy section in Discord and can come and hang out in the members area for the next month, all free of charge because you've been gifted a membership. Please use it. Hit the Discord link, get in there, use it. Have a little chat with people in the members section, and maybe next month when your gifted membership runs out, you'll go, I think this is worth it. And then perhaps you choose to become a member all by yourself, and then the next time people give memberships, other people get the experience. That's the way we like it to work.
That's why we want to grow it.
Thank you, Steaders, for the $2. What's the minimum you want to see transfer-wise? That's a very interesting question. We'll give it the last 5 minutes, right? Because we'll stop at 15:15. minimum I'd like to see transfer-wise, I want to see a new creative midfielder.
Yep.
Because even if we keep Fernandes, and there's no guarantee here, I know I've banged this drum for ages, and I would love for us to keep him. But if we keep him, I still think we need another creative player, even if it's a person to sit in front of Fernandes, or if it's a person to come in if he's injured, or a person to come on if he's tired, or whatever. I would also like to see at least one additional winger. Actually, honestly, for me, I would like to see us sign a 10, an attacking winger for the bench. I think it's perhaps naive to think we'll sign 2 attacking wingers, and I do at the moment think that Jay Robinson is showing a lot of promise. So I actually think I'd like to keep giving him game time in the Championship. I think we have to be careful to protect him because he's young, and we have this ability to chuck really young academy players out into the eyes. I think part of Dibling's problem is that last season we relied too heavily on him. Honestly, I think we did. We didn't really have much else creatively. So I think I want to see a 10. I want to see at least a first team winger and perhaps another one for the bench or another first team winger. And I'd be close to happy there.
To a degree.
I then would like to see that all the outs we've talked about be outs.
I think that's the big thing. So I think a 10 coming in is a must. I think at least 2 wingers coming in is a must. And I think in terms of being able to bring wingers in, we haven't used it yet. I think we'll probably see us use the loan market because the loan market is still available to us. So it wouldn't surprise me if we potentially see a winger coming in from somewhere, probably from the Premier League. We've done that before. Wouldn't surprise me if we see that. I think we'll see a third choice keeper come in, potentially on a short-term deal. Again, wouldn't surprise me. I heard Donnarumma's available. Jokes, he's going to Man City. There's a lot of talk, and I've just seen Cameron's comment there. There's a lot of talk from fans talking about us trying to get hold of a striker. I don't see it happening unless we move players out. Unless Archer moves out or someone moves out, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I agree.
Josh Sargent is a name that has been mentioned time and time and time again. I like Josh Sargent, Cameron. I agree with you. However, his injury record does worry me. He is injured a lot.
Okay.
And he's never really set the Championship alight with 20, 25 goals. It's always sort of been 10, 12 because he's been injured. Is he the sort of player we need? He's no different to what we've got now, to a degree.
If he's injury prone, I wouldn't want to have him and Stewart in the same squad.
We could play Erling Haaland up front. But if we're not going to create the chances for him, it don't.
And this is why, for me, my priority in the window is an attacking line that sits behind the strikers.
Yeah,
because at the moment we don't currently have the creativity. As we said earlier in the show, I'm not saying that Cam Archer, Ross Stewart, and Adam Armstrong are going to set the Championship on fire. Nor am I saying they're the best strikers in the league, but they are proven at this level. We know that they can do it. They have to be fit enough, which is Stewart's biggest problem, and they have to be given the service. And then Cam Archer's kind of instance, he has to be given a run of games as well, which he's currently not getting.
He's getting, here you go, have 8 minutes, go and play on the left wing, go and roll and die.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, thank you so much for the super chats. Thank you so much for the gifted memberships. And more importantly, thank you for hanging out with us for the show tonight. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, like I said at the start of the show, hit that like button before you disappear. And if you haven't already and you're watching on demand and you've made it to this point, that's got to be worth a subscribe. If you've got other friends of yours who are Saints fans and football fans and you say, hang on, I think this podcast is all right, think about once it's an on-demand video, sending them a link, hit the little share button, send the link to your friends and families and get your cat to watch it. It all helps. And if they can all hit subscribe, including that cat, that helps us get to those 1,000 subscribers. And that's it just makes us feel like our penises are slightly bigger.
Yeah. Okay.
So thank you so much for hanging out with us on the show. Appreciate all your comments in chat. Thank you for the live chat for taking part. If you are listening on demand, the best way to get involved is in the live chat during the live streams, which is normally at 8 p.m. on a Sunday. Otherwise, on rare occasions like this weekend, we might do it on the Monday instead because transfer window, right? But
drop into the comments if you need. Drop into the comments. Let us know your thoughts. We reply to every comment.
You are perfectly welcome, like Ash has just said, to put anything in the comment section below about anything we've talked about, the transfer window, the game against Stoke, our predictions, your predictions. Let us know. Stick it in the comment section below. I think that covers it all, doesn't it?
I think it covers everything for now, yeah.
Beautiful. There's other ways you can consume the podcast as well. You can consume it on iTunes and Spotify after the show. We do put it up every single week. Literally after the show, I sit there for 10 minutes, do the admin, get it up on those platforms and hit go. So
I stand there and look pretty.
He does one of those things. He does one of those things. However, it wouldn't be the end of the show without your rallying cry.
It's a subdued one this week because we lost.
No, but you've got to get them G'd up for next game.
No. Subdued one this week. Firstly, people, as we said at the start, don't panic. There's not time to hit the panic button, is it? Let's be honest. Don't lose your heads. Don't panic.
Corporal Jones over here.
Boom. Up the Saints. That's what
is that it?
That's it. That's what you're getting this week, yeah. What are you getting?
Saints, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you. Hang on, where's my button? In the next one.
Dancing again. No, you're supposed to press the button earlier than
I
that.
know, yeah. I wanted to watch you dance.
Oh, that's embarrassing, isn't it?